Hey friends, welcome to another week of Coffee with Katie. I hope you're all doing well today. Let me get live on Instagram. My platform is still not connecting to Instagram live when it is time. It is storming here right now, or it's getting ready to. So if you hear some thunder, excuse me, some rumblings, that's what's going on. So yeah. Summer afternoons in the South. I feel like I've spent most of the summer afternoons comforting my dog. He's very scared of storms. Okay, let's get this right. Oh, hi. Hello. Welcome, Instagram friends. Welcome, everyone, to Coffee with Katie. I am Katie Thompson, your host. Today, I'm drinking a Smart Water. I'm going to be honest, it's a little too hot for coffee here today in South Carolina. And I had physical therapy, and I'm just feeling like I need a little bit extra. So, hope you have something good to drink with you. I was going to do something a little bit different today. I had an event last week where I got to see all of the artwork that I have available that I have had in storage because of moving and not having an office and things like that. So I figured I would show some things today and talk about it and yeah, everything else going on. So real quick, I'll do a visual description. I am a Caucasian woman identifying person. I have shoulder length brown curly hair, and I'm wearing a yellow t-shirt that says created equal. You can see it there. I got this shirt at the Museum of the American Revolution, gosh, back in like 2022, and I haven't worn it until now. So I figured today was a good day to have it on. Let me adjust my camera a little bit. Whoops. Okay. There we go. Sorry, Instagram, if that fluctuated there for a second. But yeah, so like I said, I'm Katie. I am an artist, a writer, also an advocate, and an intuitive creative here. We live outside of Charleston, South Carolina, in the Low Country. And I started live streaming in 2020 as part of the Women of Woodworking Project. It is a media project I have where I document and share the stories of women and gender nonconforming woodworkers. And we're on Instagram mostly, but you can also find more interviews and links to lots of good stuff, including the New York Times article we were in this spring. You can find that on my website at ktthompson.com. So I really loved live streaming. It was a great way to connect during the pandemic, and it was awesome to also help build community. I would and still interview women woodworkers, Instagram users. And that way we're able to kind of unite our audiences behind one conversation and one presentation. And it was really nice and great for growing community. So I figured I would start doing it here. I also live in the middle of nowhere. I don't get out very often. So this is kind of my way of connecting with the world. And I love to yap. So there you go. But I have a lot of things that I enjoy. I'm a very multifaceted person. Like I said, I'm an artist and a writer. But as far as my art goes, I guess you could classify me as a multimedia artist. I love working with digital paintings. I love making videos and content and things like that. But I also love making more traditional art. I love painting with watercolors and pastels. I've also published a children's book. I also have a poetry zine. So I love that aspect of graphic design and publication. And then, of course, I love woodworking. My husband is a furniture maker and a teacher at the Charleston Woodworking School. So I really love woodworking. We both really do. He has helped me fall in love with it. And I don't do as much woodworking these days. I do have one project going on right now, but it's kind of in a waiting process. Wood makes you wait. You have to wait and let it dry and be prepared all the time. So yeah, but anyways, it is Disability Pride Month still. I can't believe that July even really happened. I feel like it was so busy and went by so fast, but it is technically still July 30th and Disability Pride Month. So last week I was at the Disability Pride finale, And I had set up a nice booth with some of my artwork and books, and it was just really nice to talk to people and sell a few things. And I figured I'd get on here and share some of what I have already. Hi, Mimi. But I just have a lot of things that are fun and I'm really proud of. And I haven't done a really good job of promoting my artwork, gosh, in the past year or so. I feel like I've kind of been in flux. And since I haven't been able to make a whole lot of new stuff, I kind of just like pump the brakes there. Plus, our house just being the way it has been has not been real easy for me to, like I said, even know what I have here in my bins. But I have some really good things that I'd like to share with you. Let me pause and check in on really quick. Hang tight, Instagram. Yes. Let's see. I want to do this overlay thing and see. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Trying a new feature on TikTok and YouTube. So we'll see. We'll see how it works. But yeah. So I guess I'll go ahead and start with some of my artwork here and start sharing some of that with you. So I guess I'm going to start out with some of my favorites, and I actually sold one of these at the event, which I was super pleased because I love these frames, and I just love how they complement the glittery watercolors that I use in some of these. So this is one of my abstract watercolors that I've made. It's kind of hard. Let me get where that ring light. You can kind of see the reflection in there. But anyways, these are tiny little like 4x6 watercolor abstracts that I painted. This one I painted in 2024 last year. And so these are $45, I think, on my studio site, blackswamp.co, if you're interested in checking them out. I don't think this one in particular is listed. So if this one catches your eye, reach out to me and I'll be sure to set it aside for you and do that. But it's not listed on my website. The next two I'm about to show you are. So this is fun. I can pretend I'm on QVC. Some fun thing. Oh, so that is like my new favorite thing on TikTok. There's this one creator. I don't know his name or their name, but he do these amazing like QVC style presentations for holiday decor, and like I need to spend any money on holiday decor, but the way they just sell it is perfect and it's awesome, and it brings me back to falling asleep on my parents' couch and waking up at like 2 a.m. and be like, what is that? They're trying to sell me a Ronco microwave oven. What is going on? But it's good. He does a fantastic job, and some of the stuff is really cute. So check them out. All right, here's number 2. This one got a lot of attention at the event. I thought for sure this one was going to sell, but I think the amount of layers and kind of like texture that has been added to this piece really draws to people. The orange and those kind of warmer tones too. But this one was, watercolor, I think, strictly. And I painted this one last year in 2024. And it's 4x6 too, comes with the frame. And yeah, that looks really good on my pink wall there. Yay, check it out. All right. So this one is listed on my website, blackswamp.co. If you want to check that one out and purchase it, it should be listed as $45. Okay. And number 3, my final like small gold framed abstract piece that I have here. This one is also listed on the website. I love this one. This is a really nice, like minimalist piece. I remember the day I made this and I was just like so pleased with how everything kind of flowed in the composition with this. I'm a very intuitive abstract artist. I tend to just kind of like go with it. Occasionally I do kind of go in with a plan, or I'm inspired by a certain color or shape or thing like, that, some kind of like a prompt almost. But this is, again, watercolor, and I love it. All of these kind of have a little bit of a sparkle element like it to some of these paints, because I love to paint with glittery watercolors too. So I'm not someone that shies away from shape or color or glitter. So you can find this one on my website as well for $45. I think it is listed it's teal abstract, and then you can also, the other one is like orange abstract, but yay. All right. What do we have next? Ooh, okay. Next, I'm going to take a quick break from artwork. And I have some signed copies of Little Beaver Builds a Bed. This is the children's woodworking book that, gosh, this was such an amazing project. I always wanted to write a children's book. And then when we decided to have our, our family, expand our family, I really put my heart and soul into it. And so I wrote the story, Little Beaver Builds a Bed, about a little beaver who shares a woodworking project with his dad, a very special project. But this started out, I remember I reached out to Kristen, the illustrator here, Kristen Zlecki. I was just like, I have this idea. I'm going to put it on Kickstarter and see if it takes off. What do you think? Are you game? And she was like, sure. She totally like trusted me with this and made it, that it would happen. And sure enough, it did. I'm just like so grateful for everyone that ever has like supported this project or purchased a book. I have people who sponsored. So it was just really wonderful to see this come to fruition. But anyways, back to this book. These illustrations here at the back, we have some really nice like drawings of, traditional woodworking tools. So kids can get to know like some of these tools that you're not going to find in every single garage, but you can make really beautiful things with using your hands. So I wanted to kind of teach children some of the woodworking basics there. But this, you go throughout the story with Little Beaver. He kind of stumbles into his dad's workshop. And I've left so many like personal gems, like little Easter eggs in here. This is actually Joseph's first shop. This was modeled after that. And then our beloved dog, Bella, makes an appearance in here a couple of times. She was our shop dog, longtime shop dog. So, yeah, it's just a really special book. And I sold a couple of these at the event too. I love that people see like the passion behind the story, like, and the project, and like the whole reason of, the whole point of being like teaching, children that there are different ways to do things, and there are ways you can make things with your hands, and you can empower yourself and learn new things and do hard things. So that was a lot of fun. I have a few copies, signed copies of these listed on my website right now. I think you can also find it on Amazon and some places like that. But if you would like a signed copy, go to blackswamp.co, and I believe it's $16 plus shipping. But yeah, so I've got a few of those copies here. So water break. How are we doing? Staying hydrated? Good. For real, it is too hot here. I went swimming for a very brief time yesterday because even in the water, I was pouring sweat trying to just tread water for exercise, and I got overheated in the pool. I had to sit on the stairs. Like it was, I don't know. It's like, what do they say? Like frog in boiling pot. Like I just knowingly jumped in that thing. I'm telling you what. So I did it to myself, but it is that hot here right now. All right. Ooh, these are some fun art pieces that I like to share. I don't remember the names for all these. Most of these have titles. That is one thing I try to do, is like title my work. Sometimes it doesn't always make sense, but it's like, to me, it does. Like in my head is how I classify or title, define this work or that moment or that feeling or whatever it was I was going for. So I know both of these are on the website. I think they're listed separately, but we have these really nice kind of distressed, whoop. This ain't QVC. All right. Trying to get this set back up. There we go. Okay. All right. So yeah, I have these like distressed wood frames, and this is an abstract piece that I painted. I just really like the boldness of it and the color, and again, the shape. I used a lot of the composition here, used a lot of surface area here. So some of my abstracts are, like you can probably tell, are very minimal. Others have a lot of layers and a lot of texture and a lot of things going on. So, oh, hey, you can see some of my little Star Wars collection by there, Instagram. Hey, cool. All right, so my next piece that I have is this like ocean view piece. This I painted in 2023, both of these in 2023, but I just am in love with the South Carolina coastline, like most people are. I really love Edisto. So a lot of my paintings are of the ocean are based off of reference photos from there. And of course, Charleston, the Charleston beaches, Sullivan's Island, Folly Beach. Spent many days and still spend many days out there. So I'm going to get in a little bit closer for TikTok and YouTube. But yeah, I love how the colors change, just like the water does, the ripples. And this is obviously like a pretty calm day. You could maybe do some surfing, a little bit of longboarding there on that day. But yeah, so that's a little something different. And I think I've mostly shown abstracts, but I do some, I guess more structured subjects rather than just like freehand intuitive style abstracts. See if I can get this back in the bubble wrap. How we doing? All right. Ooh, we're gonna shake it up again. I have this is what I mean. Like I can't call myself one particular artist. I can't say I'm just a watercolor artist or I'm just an abstract artist because I do a lot of so many different things. So these two pieces are really special and really different because these are mixed media pieces. I was very lucky to go to New Orleans to the Furniture Society conference back in 2023. And there was just an amazing presentation and demonstration by the New Orleans Mardi Gras Indians. And they talked about the beautiful costumes and headdress and the beadwork that they do. And I was just incredibly inspired by that. And by hearing their story and how they practice and spend hours creating these suits, and sometimes they run out of material and you can't always afford the materials you want to use, so they would use things like dental floss, or they at the end of a season, Mardi Gras season, would completely deconstruct their suit and then reuse those materials. And that's kind of what a lot of them do year to year. And it's just incredible, and it completely changed how I view the permanence of my work and art in general, and reintroduced to me the essence of like a moment and an experience, even in a physical craft form. I just was really blown away how they drew those elements together, and that they created pieces that are no longer here, and there are hopefully some documentation, some photographs somewhere, but it's just fascinating to me. So I came back home and decided to do a little bit of beadwork based on my style, and also did some of my own ancestral research for these pieces. I, growing up, was very fortunate to know like two of my great grandmothers, but beyond that, and it was actually their parents that had immigrated here to the United States from Italy and Austria. So it was early 1900s. So I'm not that far removed from them and all of the effort and the risk they took, to think that they were probably my age or younger. Maybe they had children and they got on a boat and went across a giant ocean to a new country where they didn't even speak the language is just like incredibly brave and fascinating to me. So I especially am drawn to Northern Italy, where that side of my family is from. I love the bright colors of like Milan. I love the florals. I love the beadwork. I love the glass work of Murano glass. So I got some really brightly colored beads and got to work, and had some, silks actually left over from another project that I had, and decided to make these hanging kind of wall installation pieces. So These are derivation 1, and this is derivation 2. So this was, I think, the second one I made, but the first one, there are just a lot of pieces of me literally in these pieces. So I also am really inspired when it comes to using like fabrics of the femininity of particular fabrics of particular colors. This silk just makes me feel very like luxurious, even though it's still very bright. I just really like that playfulness combined with, again, like the femininity of the material itself and what all that implicates. I also like am not super attached to the fabric laying any one particular way in these pieces. I have some pieces that I put up and take down, and it looks different every time I put it up. And that's on purpose because we as people aren't the same person every single day. Every time we put on an outfit or a dress, we're not the same person. It can change day to day. And so this work kind of reflects some of that. So yes, this is derivation 1 and 2. And these are really special pieces to me. These are for sale on the website as well, but they obviously took a little bit more effort and time. So they are a little bit pricier, and I would like to make more of them. But the materials, like I said, beadwork and things like that. Oh gosh, like RIP to Joann's. I know a lot of us really love Joann's, but I would go in there and you could spend so much money so fast. I'd be like, I have to get a grip because but that also like made me fall in love with our local dollar store. Their craft section is amazing. And they have a lot of really like great beadwork options in there sometimes. So sometimes you get lucky and go to the dollar store. Okay, I'm going to shift gears again to another medium, back to writing and poetry. And this is a draft copy, but I published a poetry zine this spring and summer. This is my first Black Swamp poetry zine. The themes surrounding this zine and the works that are in here are about disability, about being the young woman and growing up and discovering yourself while on this journey of chronic illness, chronic pain, hospitalizations, a lot of medical experiences. So I, over the years, have written different poems about different parts of that journey and the experience and decided to publish them in a zine. I have only published or printed 24 like official numbered copies. I did have a misprint, so I do have some extras that I am, happy to donate. Or if you would like to have one, just let me know about the postage and I can send it to you. But they're not like selling the misprints. But the official like signed numbered copies are available on my website. So you can find that there. $10 includes postage to the domestic United States. So not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. Okay. I'm still here. So I have a few more like traditional art pieces that I want to show you, specifically in watercolor. So this is another piece that I really enjoyed making in 2023. I do believe this is listed on my website as well. Again, just another pretty sparkly pastel abstract reflecting my mood at that time. I was feeling very playful. I felt like I had just finally opened up, the crayon box and could see all of the colors and all of the ideas and possibilities during this time. So I really love a lot of the work that came out from late 2023 to early 2024 because it's very reflective of that mood and that playfulness. So I have some more of these like floating frame abstracts. Bear with me if they're kind of like sideways because I need to fix them. So this piece, I don't know if I'm going to keep this piece. I don't really like how this piece has aged within the frame, but this one I don't think is listed on my website, but I just really like the look of the floating frame. But there's just a little bit of like bleed aging happening here that I'm not a huge fan of. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this one available, but I really like it. Otherwise, I might just keep it for myself and hang it in my office. But this piece, I really love this piece. This was a super fun, futuristic, again, kind of like textural, pop and bubble wrap piece. And if I can get it unwrapped. In the floating frame, but yeah, like I love the colors and I love the contrast. I love the definition of, or like I said, the contrast between the pastels and the brightness of some of these pieces. This was a really fun one, and this was like a kind of like a mix between my minimalist mood and like a really fun, heavy composition. So this is a fun piece. I don't think this is on the website, but if you're interested in it, let me know. This one I did in 2023. So yeah, again, from that really like fun, playful, abstract time. So, now I have two larger canvas pieces that I'm excited to show you. And I finally got one of these loaded up on my website this afternoon. So I'm really excited. I got a lot of great feedback on these at the event. And these are also the type of pieces that I find galleries are most interested in. I don't know if because it's canvas and it's like made, just better suited towards a gallery space and layout, but I need to get back into that and like maybe submitting some of these out, or you're welcome to make one of them your own. But let me scoot over here. Okay, so this first one I made sure I got on the website today, but this is a digital abstract. I created this digitally and then have had it printed onto a gallery wrapped style canvas. This is a 12 by 12 inch. So it's nice. It's not a massive piece, but it's not super small either. I really love this. This reminds me so much of like me, young Katie, my personality, like who I am really at my core. It reflects a lot of the optimism that I remember feeling like in childhood and what creating makes me feel. So I really love this piece. This is on the website. I think it's 125, and then shipping is like $25 to domestic US. But I'll deliver locally. I'll reimburse that if you're in Charleston and want to just like meet up, and I can deliver it to you. But yeah, I really love this piece. I'm gonna maybe try to find a way to hang this on the wall until it finds a new home. I just really enjoy it. So okay, one more. Oh, PT today. We did a lot of like, what are they called? Deadlifts, Roman deadlifts. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now. So lots of like lifting. So my legs are just like, try to lift up. You might as well call crane because it's just one of them days. All right. So here is another canvas. This was a digitally created piece, but I love that there are different materials, like different textures that I used in this piece, because it reminds me a lot of like what I would do with my physical pieces early on in my career. Like we're talking like when I was just starting out in the little shed in Little Beaver, making really bad artwork. So this to me is like kind of the grown-up version of that. So I really love this piece. I don't think it's on the website yet, but it would be 125 as well. It's 12 by 12. But again, it's gallery reps. So I loved that the painting like reps all the way around. So again, I made this digitally and had it printed. You never know how your work is going to translate from the screen to a printer's, like the machine they use, the materials they use, like the ink they use, how they format your images, like using different printers. Sometimes you never know what's going to happen, but I really like how this piece turned out, how both of these pieces turned out. And I have some other ones here in my personal collection, but both of these are available if you are interested. So, okay, let me check and see if there's anything else that I missed in my little box of goodies here. I know I've been chatting for a while. Thanks for staying tuned in, everyone. Boop, boop. Well, I think that's all I can like grab right now. There's definitely lots more. I haven't even like begun to show jewelry. Here are some of the earrings that I made. Gosh, these are probably back in 2013, 2014. Like I said, my husband is a furniture maker and works in wood. So I got the idea to take scraps from the furniture pieces and turn those into jewelry. And so these pieces, I literally like took tiny, tiny little scraps of wood. This one, I took some gold leaf, this little piece, gold leaf, and, kind of painted the wood and chopped it up and had it finished. So it has like a little element of texture and shine. And then I just got the tiniest little pieces of wood I could find and made them independents with some fun chain. And these are brass earring hooks. I think, sorry about that, Instagram, but I think I would use a different material for these now. Maybe something a little bit nicer, but yeah, so I have necklaces and some earrings and some things. I have some little odds and ends there. I don't think I have much listed on the website just because it's so sporadic. What I have is very varied, so it's hard to like create a listing for just like one thing that is very unique. That is one thing about wood is every single piece is different. I fortunately had a lot of customers that understood, like, I'm going to put this cuff link on the website, but what you get might look differently, even though it's the same species, same material. But I think people that love wood and appreciate wood and collect wood mostly understand that. So yeah, I do have this little fun art piece that I actually keep in my office right now. This is a mixed media piece. I think it's a mixture of watercolor and acrylic and ink, but I, again, just scrap of wood, scrap of plywood, decided to make some. I love drawing and painting florals. I love studying flowers. I love taking pictures of flowers. I love the shapes and the definition and like the shading, the way the light hits different petals, and every single flower to me is different. It's like every single one is different and holds itself differently, and petals fall differently, and it's different colors and blooms different ways. So I'm really inspired by that. But I made a couple of these plywood pieces and donated one of them to Creative Misfits art show with Heart SC a few years ago, and it sold like right away. So I was super grateful that they were able to make some money off of it because it was super fun to create. And they are a great organization that do a lot for adults with disabilities here in Low Country, just to keep the community engaged creatively. And I just really appreciate that. So yeah, well, I think that's kind of it for me this evening. I have started doing some more intuitive work and kind of tapping into the collective. I know today is kind of especially tiring because there is Venus is moving into Cancer, which is the planet of beauty and connection, moving into Cancer, which is a lot of big feelings sign. So take extra care, stay hydrated, rest up, and love on yourself a little bit extra. This is a good day to do that. If you're going to get wrapped up in your feelings, get wrapped up in your self-love is what I say. So there you go. But thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, most of this is available on my website at blackswamp.co. You can also follow me on my main website page that also contains my blog, and that's ktthompson.com. There's a link to my studio shop there, a link to my intuitive work, a link to the Women of Woodworking Project. Basically, anything that you want to find out about me, you can link to it there. But yeah, it has been a fantastic week. I hope next week will be a little bit calmer around here. It was nice to kind of have a break. We've been doing a lot of moving, a lot of organizing, digging through toys. Shout out to Mimi and Joe because they know exactly what it's like. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But I was glad to step away and talk about art for a little bit. And last week was super busy with the events and everything. So I will see you next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern here on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic week.